Welcome to the Alex Salmond Show. We hope you've all had a wonderful Christmas. But we're here for a special New Year edition where we're joined by the wonderful Lewis McLeod and Kate Robbins. Welcome to the show. Did you have a good Christmas?
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, it was fantastic.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Wonderful.
Well, there's women and men of many voices, and this show we're going to do what we're going to do, television, the highlights of the showbiz year. Now, Strictly Come Dancing still the #1 show, but are they running out of guests?
I tell you what, Alex, as Shirley Ballas, I think you would be fantastic. You've got the composure, you've got the stature, you've got the tartan trousers. I think you've got the dangly legs that would be perfect for Strictly. I would love you to do it. I think you'd be fantastic.
I mean, did you say, are they running out of guests? That's interesting. Everyone's been on. I mean, Dan Walker, the BBC News
We've not been on.
No, true.
Neither have we.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's a fascinating programme because everybody wants to do it, you know. And then they wonder...
Sorry, I wasn't burping. I was just doing Anton Dubek, you know.
And what do you think of Anton? Well, welcome to the...
Oh, no, I just, you know, I mean, I sashayed through the thing. I don't know if this is a good impersonation or not of him. But, you know, he's got that... He seems to be a bit
He's
like
lovely.
that, you know.
He's
Is
lovely.
he?
They're all lovely.
They're all lovely,
yeah.
I liked it when Len Goodman was on it. You know, the old fella was like that. Yes,
that's right.
He was like somebody from the East End. You know what I mean? Well, in the old days, we used to tie them to the chair, you know. We'd go round and we would just get the truth out of them by stamping round them. Like the walls of Jericho, they'd tell the truth in minutes.
But Shirley is in charge. She is head judge, aren't you, Shirley?
She is the head judge, and you know what, Tasmina, you've got the legs, you've got the shoes, you've got the body, you're just perfection. You'd be fantastic. Strictly speaking, Lewis, you'd be rubbish.
Would be as well. Yeah, I don't think I could.
But the contestants who've been on it, I mean, Vince Cable was on it, and Ed Balls, and they seemed to do quite well, didn't they? I mean, you'd think politicians would be at a disadvantage, but they seem to do
It's funny
all right.
you say that because actually, I mean, when you think about where Ed Balls has gone since he did Strictly...
Where has he gone?
well, no, he's got a book out. He's on every television programme you ever see. Nothing to do with politics. But he's everywhere.
And you think Strictly Come Dancing made the
Launched
former
him.
Shadow Chancellor?
It launched him.
Well, look at Bill Bailey. He did really well out of it, and you know, there are people that go on it and you think will have no skill whatsoever who end up charging on and doing really well.
Whereas I'm a celebrity, get me out of here is generally regarded as something of an end game for celebrities, whereas Strictly is a launch pad.
It is. Well, actually, an end game, you say, for celebrities. My daughter, Emily Atack, did I'm a Celebrity, and it made her career. I would say. She was launched because people saw the real Emily. Up till then, she'd been a sort of blonde dolly bird in films and in The Inbetweeners. Nobody'd seen the real Emily, and you go into the jungle, you'd lose all your makeup, and, you know, you've just got to be yourself.
And was eating insects, was that part of her growing up? Was it enabled her to do that?
I'd given her spiders on toast when she was a child.
The centipede casserole was a particular highlight.
Did you see the cleaning lady, Kim Woodburn, on it? Years ago. Do you remember Kim Woodburn? I tell you what, it's filth. And the toilet at the Dunny, it's absolutely filthy, my love. Dirty, stinking, filthy people. Filthy. All of you, you're all filthy.
But let's get back to you as a mother watching your daughter on I'm a Celebrity. Were you sitting by the television cheering her on, saying, stand on that slug, you get in there?
I was in Australia because they fly you out and they did a surprise.
So you were the one waiting in the... Were you the one waiting in the hotel type thing?
No, they took me into the jungle and they filmed a surprise when she comes out. Now, I hadn't seen her for 3.5, nearly 4 weeks by this stage.
Did you sneak in a piece or a wee sandwich?
And she came out and burst into tears. It was very emotional, and I burst into tears because we hadn't seen each other for nearly a month, which was the longest we'd ever been away from each other.
And what did you eat together first? What was the first thing she had?
When she came out,
food?
no, when she came out, she had double cheeseburger.
no surprises.
But she said that having no communication with the outside world, no phone, no social media, being slightly starved, she said it's fantastic for your brain. She said I've never felt so alive.
How interesting.
Wow.
And happy, yeah, and happy.
Would you do it, Lewis? If asked?
People ask you that, don't they? They say, would you rather go on Strictly or would you rather be on I'm a Calamity or would you I'm a Celebrity? Get me out? I don't know. It's the insects. It's the creepy crawly stuff because I don't like spiders and things like that.
Oh no, well then you'd be great because they love people who don't like it because then you'd be voted to do all the tasks and you'd become the hero. All these programmes, Dancing on Ice, Strictly, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Everyone might pretend they don't watch them, but I tell you what, everyone has watched a bit of some of them. Yeah.
But then what would it be like if they Strictly are running out of guests?
Yes.
Because they haven't had Lewis on, of course. but let's say you had a Strictly Come Royal. I mean, remember long time ago, the royal family did It's a Knockout, but couldn't they do Strictly Come Dancing?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Do you know what I would ask the Queen? Well, Shirley, one doesn't really want to go out there and do things like that. I think that my son Charles would be marvellous on Strictly. And I hope, Shirley, you will find a place for Prince Charles.
I thank you so much. I think that's... How does he refer to his mother? Does he call her Mum? Mama?
Mummy, isn't it? Mummy?
Is it Mummy?
I don't know.
I think he was saying Mummy.
No, it's Mummy.
I do honestly think she's probably convalescing at the moment, but it'd be nice to perhaps see Camilla on Strictly.
Would you choose, Charles? Would you choose your Royal Highness? Would you choose Camilla as your partner, or would you take the opportunity to choose another partner?
The artist formerly known as Never Going to Be Queen. I don't know, it's just, I think she'd probably be quite good at the pasodoble.
I tell you who would have been
She'd be good
great.
at the foxtrot. You know, I thought that was something you did on a horse. And
It could be a family reunion, you see.
I don't think that's absolutely because we've already signed up for the American version. Can we talk about something else?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. Thanks. No, we can't talk about that, really. We're in, no, get the kids out of the shot. No, we're not talking about that. I think that it would be great if Sarah Ferguson, Fergie, was still in the royal family. She's not even in the royal family anymore, is she?
Bring her back.
Oh, do you remember, when I did her on Spitting Image many years ago, I used to make her talk like this, sort of... and I gave her this laugh, which was a snort. And we had her saying lines like, oh, they've named a pudding after me at Buckingham Palace. It's called Ginger Sponge. Because I'm a ginger sponge. And, oh, it hurts when I do that. And I met her, and she said, why on earth did you give me that terrible snort? And I didn't know what to say. I couldn't say, it's just, I don't like you very much. Could I? No.
So what did you say?
I just said, nice to meet you, ma'am.
And then you snorted.
It was like... But she never snorted in her life. I mean, I don't know why I gave her that laugh, but it just worked. And then once, when we gave her freckles once, we just had her putting... I'm going to put my makeup on now. And she got a colander and she just sprayed orange paint through a colander for her freckles. It was really good. Do you remember that?
Oh, funny.
I'm sure Her Majesty the Queen would sail through and Strictly Come Royal, but just in the off chance she got knocked out, they'd have to reshoot the whole show to keep her back in.
Well, I do get the feeling sometimes that Prince Charles, he must be dying to be king now. And he must be, like, encouraging his mum to go on Dancing on Ice.
Isn't that what Philip Schofield does, Dancing on Ice?
Well, it certainly would be a special show tonight if that happened with the members of the royal family. It's a sort of slight tonal, I don't know, a bit more treble than somebody like Jeremy Vine. And on the programme today, we have a royal slipping on ice.
Oh, Slipping on Ice, like it. Jeremy Vine, that's brilliant. I mean, you sound more like Jeremy Vine than he does.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody, but do take care. Anything could go wrong.
That is fantastic.
It's always something bad's going to happen.
And you do a great impression of Her Majesty, Kate, too. I wonder...
Well, one tries.
Yes, one does.
One doesn't know what she sounds like these days. I think she's still sort of tightly clipped like that, like a Pathe News.
Somebody told me they're all mimics, and apparently HMQ, as we've heard her referred to, is an amazing mimic, apparently.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we know Charles is, you know, because of his love of the Goons, he used to do... Blah, blah, blah. You remember he did all the voices? You know, and he was very good at it. There's a film of him impersonating characters from the Goons.
Oh,
So I think they all... I'd love to think that they were all round the Christmas dinner, all, you know...
All giving
Charles was doing, how about this one? Joe Biden.
And the Queen saying, OK, here's my Meghan. And then doing Meghan, everyone just going, ooh.
Oh, yeah, Harry and Meghan, that would be hilarious. Yeah, I don't think that's very funny. Could you...
Well, for Strictly, as I say, everybody kind of watches that before Christmas, but there's been other new programmes that have started. There's a new news channel, for instance, GB News, and a lot of very well-known people have been and gone. Well, Andrew Neil, Nigel Farage.
Well, how long did Andrew Neil last?
Well, Neil Oliver.
He was running the station and still
them
managed to remove himself.
The usual suspects.
But this was like
now.
a cast list of your impressions, Lewis. They're all guys. And
actually, do you know what? I think I've probably had a go at least 3 out of the 5. Eamon Holmes, not so good there. I don't know. Our producer, Maureen, would probably make a comment about this. I don't know if I've met him a couple of times.
Right.
It's right there.
Brian the Tyne.
Alistair Stewart was always about driving. Now, there's a thing that ITV presenters do that makes me laugh.
Tom Bradby's got it, where they all sort of almost clap their hands. Right, OK. OK, then. Peugeot laid off for...
You know, it's like they've personalised the news. My favourite, of course, Channel 4 News. He bids farewell this very year. Channel 4 News, here I am. Do you like my socks? Uncle's ankle.
Somehow, I don't think Jon Snow will be going to GB News somehow.
No.
But Nigel Farage came in like a white knight.
Came in like a white knight. That's like something you lay out on the table in Colombia. But never mind. No, let me speak. I'd like to say, on GB News, we never take the knee, unless it's with a crowbar. No. And there you've got the mythical, what's his face?
Neil Oliver.
Neil Oliver. Yes, everything's intense, even breakfast. Yeah. And hello to the far right there. Hello, I'm Andrew Neil. Someone left a cake out in the rain, and it looked like me. Somebody said our viewing figures took a boost when we said on our opening night we had Gremlins, because a lot of our viewers loved that movie.
Well, they have quite a lot of famous people, well-known people, some former newscasters. But if you were to have a choice, just a bit of fun, of who would be quite good presenting the news, who would you choose?
Well, I think Esther Ransom might be quite good at it, because Esther's always had a very high-pitched voice that sort of goes up like that. And she's been around for a long time. And I think that she'd read the news in a very interesting way.
Do you, Joanna Lumley? Joanna Lumley's hilarious. You're Joanna Lumley's hilarious.
I tell you, I mean, Joanna Lumley, just absolutely fabulous styling. And Joanna Lumley's always doing marvellous documentaries about going around the world and meeting people who make you smile and make you feel absolutely fabulous styling. I've forgotten that I do her. I think she could read the news beautifully. Oh, yes, Joanna Lumley. Why not?
I don't suppose we'll ever see Lorraine Kelly, the Queen.
No.
Television.
Lorraine Kelly won't do GB News. No. Because it's not brilliant. It's not brilliant. And you really not brilliant. Love Lorraine. She's great. I go to Keep Fit classes with her.
The only one I can impersonate is the Kirsty Wark from News Now.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the thing about Kirsty Wark is joining us in the studio, you can barely make out what she's saying. She's mumbling intellectually, it was the subject, the government, and the white paper going through. And then when she takes the glasses off, then that's when I think she becomes coherent. And then she was exactly what the Prime Minister said.
That's funny. Yeah, she does that.
But yeah.
Do you remember Moira Stewart used to read the evening news? I think she's on the radio more.
Fantastic.
Moira Stewart, I used to do her like that. And Moira Stewart had a voice that was always very bass like that. But it was sounding like a load of bees humming around the place. But that was Moira Stewart. I'd like to see her reading the news.
I wonder how Shirley Ballas would read the news.
Well, you know what? I've got the posture. I've got the structure. Taz, I've got the dangly legs. I would read the news however you wanted it. But all I would say is, it's got to be strictly news.
Strictly News. That's quite a good name for a programme. Anyway,
hey, great idea.
We are going to continue with the wonderful Lewis and Kate after the break, where we're going to look at some of the highlights of the television year. We'll see you then.
Welcome back. We're joined by impressionist Lewis McLeod and Kate Robbins, who with us are reviewing some of the highlights of the showbiz year. Now, we've already dealt with the Strictly Come Royals, the #1 television show, but the #1 TV show this year has been Succession. starring, of course, Scotland's own, Dundee's own, Brian Cox. Now, he plays Logan Roy in Succession, and Brian was telling us when he was on the show here that because Logan Roy is notably profane, that people come up to him and ask for selfies and ask Brian to swear at them. Does this sort of thing ever happen to you, Lewis?
No, I usually get them just to tell me to F-O. No, actually, I think that's quite cool. There's a few people I know that have that as presenters. They get... Mike Graham has that when he gets on air on his podcast. Yeah, Billy Connolly's had that famously. You know, he does that routine where he told that story. He was going in Brighton, and he said, "Oh no, they come running up after you." And I says, "My wee boy would just like you to shout F off, you know." He said, "Really?" He said, "Aye." And he says, and he does it, and the wee guy goes, "Yes."
Funny, isn't it?
Did that ever happen to you when you were playing Margaret Thatcher and spitting it?
No, because when I was playing Margaret Thatcher, it was only occasionally. It was usually somebody called Stephen Nallen who played her, but I did do her on a few episodes. And the thing about Margaret Thatcher is she would never have sworn at anybody in public. And she was such a lady. Well, apparently she didn't used to speak like that. Apparently she used to have a high-pitched voice. Apparently she used to talk like that, like a Pathé newsreel, and very, very high-pitched. And somebody said, "Margaret, you've got to bring the tone down. You've got to bring the tone down if you want to be one of the people." They said, "Oh, like that?" And then that's how she spoke. And she was very, very, very sexy. She had quite a sexy voice, I thought.
Well, the whole Conservative Party of the day were enthralled to her.
They were.
Yes, absolutely. It was Gordon Rees who told her to modulate her tones. Maybe I should get that done to me, who knows. But listen, Brian Cox, he was notable as obviously outstanding actor, Gold Globe winner, but also is the only actor who actually managed to land a role in both Braveheart and Rob Roy.
Really?
They were the two blockbusters together.
Amazing.
And Brian alone among all the actors, Scottish actors, managed to get a role in both. And what he said to us when he was on the show, he said, "Listen, what should have happened is Liam Neeson should have been William Wallace, because he's a big guy, and Mel Gibson, who's quite a small guy, should have been Rob Roy, who apparently was 5 foot nothing and bandy-legged." So I don't know, would Liam Neeson have played Braveheart?
One of my favourite actors. And a voice I use often when I get those phone calls from these call centres that want to sell you something. "I don't know who you are."
My name's John.
"I don't know what you want."
I just need to know how long you've been registered at your current address.
"If you're looking for ransom, I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a long period of time. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you."
It's okay, I'll call back later.
Do you do that to people often, Lewis?
And what?
And of course, you have been, the soap's always worthwhile talking about what's happened in the past year and the number of soaps. And of course, you've been in EastEnders, haven't you?
I've recently been in EastEnders, and it was great being in such an iconic show. And it reminded me, years ago, I was in an iconic show wasn't probably as well produced, and that was called Crossroads. And when I was in Crossroads, there was a cleaning lady called Mrs. Brownlow, and Crossroads was shot all in one. You couldn't have retakes unless you swore on camera, and I was too young and innocent to swear on camera. And so Mrs. Brownlow came on once, I remember, and she's like this, and she comes on with a vacuum cleaner, and the director shouted, "Cut! I can't hear anything because of that black vacuum cleaner." And I swear, his PA ran down onto the set. She went, "I'm sorry, it's a typo. It should say Mrs. Brownlow hovering in the background."
These sort of things that make soaps.
I love your story, Lewis, about scaring a caller by playing Liam Neeson. I once walked into the William Hills branch in Horsford Road, which I can't remember why, just occasionally I did that sort of thing. And I heard Sean Connery doing the commentary of the race, because one of the guys doing the commentaries for Children in Need had said he would do the whole race as Sean Connery. You know, shot at the brave, it's finishing, and sort of stuff.
That's quite good.
See, I could do that. But could you do Sean Connery doing a race meeting or something?
Well, there you go. They're all lining up, all the runners and riders, shitting by the dock of the bay. There's a couple of crackers there as well. Of course, he couldn't see anything.
It's very unfortunate when you've got an S that sounds like an SH, isn't it?
Yeah, what was it? We used to have a joke. I think it was Fred Macaulay wrote me this joke when I must have been about 18 at the time. And he said, my name is James Bond 007. And this is how old the gag it was. It was 01 if you're outside London. And the gag went, and then he came up with Q, you're a shite, for sure eyes.
We miss Sean greatly.
Oh, yes. You met him. I mean, you've hung out with the guy.
So many stories. But I was with Sean once, and Sean, for various reasons, wanted to phone up Greg Dyke, who then was the Director General of the BBC, because Sean had seen this BBC programme about Scotland he didn't approve of it. So I'm just going to phone Greg, you know, tell him, give him a piece of my mind. So he did, but he got Greg's secretary, who of course wouldn't believe it was Sean Connery. Sean is trying to be polite, and so pass me on to Greg. And so he hands me the phone. And so I said, this is Alex Salmond, First Minister of Scotland. It really is Sean Connery. And so which the woman said, Alex Salmond, you're kidding. Put the phone down.
Well, let's stay on the subject of 007, because obviously, after Daniel Craig, there's chat about who the new Bond should be. And who do you think?
Well, I played Daniel Craig in Spitting Image. It was quite a difficult voice to do. Mr. Bond. It was. I found that when they got the sort of casino end of him, when he was just making his point, there was somewhere we got, but invariably they're quite tricky because the scene might be them all throwing things or headbutting each other, and but with Craig, it was a slight sort of sound like that. Great fun.
I think it should be.
It should be. Well, this chat about it should be a woman, Kate.
What do you think?
I think it should be Shirley Ballas. I think I'd be great. I'd give myself 007 points every time I was on screen. It would be great.
Would you be good in action, Shirley?
Oh, I could do. I've got the structure. I've got the legs. I've got the
PPK.
Oh, and when I come ejaculating out of that car in that seat, I'd be fantastic. I would. I'd be marvellous.
Of course, you've got. I mean, Boris Johnson's been on the high wire, as we've all seen him.
Well,
in
that's
that
right.
famous...
I think I'm a perfect. Thank you so much.
What do you think?
That Boris.
He'd be a great.
I think I would be. There you go. Take that. If you saw the way I went up to Macron, do you know? I think I would have given him more than a piece of my, letterhead, and I think I would have given him a good headbutt, a good beak butt.
What other women would be good Bonds? I mean, Shirley. I know. Are you Shirley's agent, by the way? You love her.
I think Kim Woodburn, the cleaning lady. I could clean up MI5 for you. It's stinking, dirty, filthy mess. It's terrible. I would clean it up in no time. I tell you what, my love. I tell you what. I've seen a lot of Bonds in my time, but I'm the best. I mean, I think maybe it will be a woman next time. Do you?
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Absolutely.
Do you remember this though? Going into the queue, the Odeon was packed out, sold out. It's only been open about a day and a half. And the queue's right round Leicester Square. It was rained heavily. There was flooding in the toilets. Everybody thought, oh no, we're not going to get to see it. There's people making announcements. Don't worry, if you've paid your tickets, you'll get to see the Bond film, but there's no popcorn. And so we all get in, and eventually, and it's the big screen. And just as we're going in the door, this little drunk guy from just sort of staggered across, and we're literally walking in the door, and he went, going in to see the Bond film. And told us the ending. I wanted to kick him into...
Oh, no, that's terrible. That's awful.
I nearly booted his arse into Croydon, to be perfectly honest with you, but I didn't.
Me, because I've not seen it yet.
Oh, well, we'll say nothing. But New Year, new work, hopefully better times for
Yes.
I've got Afterlife 3 coming out. Ricky Gervais wrote me a lovely part for Afterlife 3.
Yes.
So I'm featured in that new series. That's coming out this month.
Oh,
January. January.
Anything else in the pipeline?
Well, that's my main one. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Good, sounds great. What about yourself, Lewis?
Well, I got to... One of my pals, Matt Berry, Toast of London, if you're a fan, he's hired me to play Orson Welles in Toast of Tinseltown, which comes out...
Great casting.
Yeah, they told me there was going to be a fat suit when I turned up. There was no fat suit. I was gutted, so immediately went on a diet. No, but I got to play Orson Welles, and from what I hear back, it's funny, and I'm so excited.
Give us a bit of Orson Welles.
Well, thank you so much, Kate. I've been terribly out of breath. Do you have any 2017 vignes concentrées petit cotat and a cigar for my weary lungs. I feel very much enamoured by this beautiful woman's dress. Alec, I love Scotland and all its intellectual Highland mist.
What would Jeremy Vine make of that?
Well, I think that to be Orson Welles, you really cannot get on a bicycle. That's where we differ. But what an amazing actor. He's bothered with his stomach. He can't get his trousers over it. But here's Toto and Africa.
But because tomorrow's Hogmanay, New Year's Eve, Kate.
Yes, yes.
And my birthday, and I know you'll have brought me something. I share it with Alec Ferguson.
Did you bring him something?
I brought a message from Alex Ferguson, who says, you know, you're a great guy, super person, happy birthday, Ek. And wishing you all the very best.
Will you sign me up?
Not buy you a thing. Because he's from Scotland, he's got high shoulders and no pockets.
Before we go, New Year's resolutions for both of you. Do you have anything in mind?
My resolution is to never ever have another New Year's resolution.
Fair enough.
Because they never ever work, or you never stick to them.
First time for everything.
Yeah, I always want to get a diary and keep to using it, you know. But now I've got the phone and the thing. I like it. I always like to start the new year with a diary in the past, you know, and you've written a little thing. I did this today, and then 2 days later you're like,
Yeah, you can.
Tasmina,
we want to
back in the studio. Are we going to give these guys the quay?
Before lockdown, you're some of the first guests we've had back into the studio. We always used to give our guests quakes, and there's no more apt time than just before Hogmanay to present you with the Alex Salmond Show Quake for you to enjoy.
My dear, what does it do?
Well, it's a small version of that.
What's it?
and this is a traditional Scottish.
It's a receptacle for the water of life, aquavita, whiskey, Ushkabeha.
The singing water.
Or something else.
One for you, Kate.
And historically, Alec, you would share the quake.
You share the quake.
Thank you, Tasmina. That's lovely.
Suitably disinfected in these different times. You share it round.
Absolutely knocked out with that.
Hold on
That
a
is
minute.
beautiful.
Remember,
That's no tin.
whiskey is COVID-proof. You know,
Hey!
That's lovely. And listen,
I absolutely love it.
Thanks very much. That's
Thank
really
you.
cool.
what fun having so many people on this show, Tasmina.
Absolutely. So thank you to Lewis McLeod and to Kate Robbins. Have a wonderful, safe and happy New Year. Enjoy
to you.
Hogmanay tomorrow. And it's been wonderful to have you both on
It's
our
been lovely to
Christmas
be
show.
on. It's been so much fun.
And
It's
our
been
New
great.
Year. An absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And to all of our viewers, from Alex and I, have a wonderful New Year. And we'll see you all again next week. Take care.
And as I always say in New Year, quoting my dad's favourite saying, here's to us, was like us, damn few, and they're all deed. And a happy New Year!
Hogmanay, Hogmanay.